The following program is a SUTV student production. The views expressed are not necessarily those of Salisbury University, the University System of Maryland, its regents, administration, officers, employees, or representatives.
On the broadcast tonight, no show. The Westboro Baptist Church posted that they would be at Salisbury this weekend, but when the time came, they were nowhere to be found. Commuters welcome. We'll bring you two stories about how the university is trying to reach out to those who don't live on campus and what they're doing to make it easier to travel on campus for those that do. And lasting impact. Kristen Wolf is here with a story on how much of a difference one man can make even after he's left the job at SU. This is SUTV Weekly News. Good evening. We begin tonight with the Westboro Baptist Church being a no-show this weekend. The controversial group, known for picketing at the funerals of war veterans, claimed that they were coming to the Salisbury University campus to protest the showing of the Laramie Project, a play which the SU Theater has put on for the past 2 weekends. The play tells the story of a gay college student who was brutally murdered 15 years ago and touches on the Westboro Baptist Church picketing the funeral of a fallen soldier. Stephen Graves covered the expected protest for us and brings us that story tonight.
Caution tape in an empty lot. That's the aftermath of the impending threat of the Westboro Baptist Church to come to Salisbury University to protest the Laramie Project. Now, even though they didn't show up, students and faculty came out in numbers to show their support for an important issue they believe in. Echoes of songs and displays of support could all be seen and heard as students and faculty gathered in Red Square to show their support for the Laramie Project.
But I think it's fantastic that the people have, and there's been all kinds of stuff on Facebook all morning about this thing and all that, and I thought, good, it gets people up and being vocal.
As the start time for the finale of the show inched its way closer, it became apparent the Westboro Baptist Church would be a no-show. But the disbelief that the church would even come to Salisbury still rang true in students' minds.
I was really shocked because I didn't expect them to have the guts to come down here. I just think it's ridiculous that they're going to come to campus and spread their message of hate and that kind of thing against the Laramie Project when it's a great play. Disbelief or not, many students still came out to show their support for an issue even greater than the play itself.
I'm really outspoken, I guess you could say, about equality in general for everyone, not just about this. But as we're showing today, I think this just shows that people are supportive, and whether they show up or not, we're ready for them.
For SUTV News, this is Stephen Graves reporting.
Did not respond to SUTV's request for comments. While some were expecting protesters on campus this Sunday, there were some welcome guests on campus as it was family weekend. While here, parents and other family members took tours of the campus, enjoyed special meals at Commons, and attended various ceremonies for the children that they've sent to SU. One event that some parents took part in was Squawk for a Cause. This is a charity 5K walk-run organized by an SU student in an effort to do her part to help those battling breast cancer. Brooke Reese has that story for us tonight.
In conclusion in Breast Cancer Awareness Month, Salisbury University student Emma Beebe held her second annual Squawk for a Cause 5K on Sunday around campus. We caught up with some student participants to understand why the month is so important to them.
I know a few people, but I think we're all just out here mainly for the cause.
Yeah, I have one for my aunt and then my friend's mom's friend.
Mine's for Cancer Support Services. I work there, so in the back is women who just got diagnosed with breast cancer.
My aunt had breast cancer. She's a survivor, so that's who I'm thinking about today.
My old roommate, her mom was just diagnosed, but nothing super personal, but more just for every woman, I guess.
150 students and over $2,000 was raised to help the SOS Foundation in Frederick, Maryland. We caught up with student Emma Beebe to talk about how she thought the event went.
I think it went really well. This morning was a little bit chaotic. I was focusing on setting everything up at the clubhouse here, and last year I did something similar, and everyone was at the clubhouse first to drop off money. So my plan didn't exactly, things don't really go as planned, but it doesn't really matter. It all got done. We started a little bit late, but some extra people got to come because of that, so I was glad. Oh my gosh, they've been awesome. Actually, all weekend, my brother and mom especially were both helping with like posters, and my brother made all the little pink ribbons, which was awesome. My mom's obviously helping a lot now, and my dad has done a ton with, you know, the man stuff, I guess. It's been so nice to have them here as well. My favorite part was when everyone took off, because everyone was together. You could see so much pink. Everyone was just so happy and so excited to be here and to help a good cause. So that was so cool to see that. And honestly, last year there was about half the amount of people, so I did not expect nearly as many people.
Reporting from outside the University Orchard Clubhouse, this is Brooke Reese for SUTV News.
With weather after this brief commercial break.
Do you find yourself staying up all night before?
Where's Jackie?
I just don't understand this stuff.
Then you need to look into Salisbury University Tutoring. They work with you until you are confident about the material, so you can pass all your tests with flying colors. For more information, call 410-677-4865.
Now Travis Bush joins us with the weather.
And off the coast. The cloud cover will do the same later this evening as it has already done tonight. The front brought some big changes into the area. The current temperature in Salisbury is 47 degrees, 48 degrees at the beaches, and the warmest temperature on the shore is in Cambridge at 53. So as you can see, these cloud covers here will diminish over the night and bring in clear temperatures and sunny skies, which will remain with us through the weekend. The temperatures today, the highs, because of the cloud cover and the easterly flow from the low pressure system that moved off the coast, they struggle to reach 60 degrees. Let's take a look at the highs around today. The highs around today, like I said, struggle to reach 60 degrees as a combination of the cold front and the cloud cover that pushed through the area prevented the temperatures from rising above it. As you can see here, looking at the national view temperatures currently, you got a cold area, 40 degrees centered over the Great Lakes region. And the unseasonably cold weather will continue to move down from the Great Lakes into our area, with the core of the cold weather reaching us Friday evening. As you can see here, again, it just kind of illustrates the motion of the air. It's flowing from the Great Lakes region down into our region. So it just further illustrates where the clouds are moving. So like I said, you can expect the cold air from the Appalachians to make its way down into the area this evening. And also the clouds won't be as thick when they reach here and allow the lows to drop into the upper 30s. Now, looking at the surface map of the country, you can see the cold front here that we had today. It's now going to move off the coast, and it's going to allow for the clearing skies once this high pressure builds in the area. However, the low pressure system that moved off the coast today is going to move up toward New England, and it's going to result in some showers in the forecast for Game 1 of the World Series tonight in Boston. Now, let's take a look at your 36-hour forecast. Tonight, the skies will remain clear with a low of 37 degrees. Tomorrow, still clear skies, highs reaching the mid-50s, and tomorrow night, much like tonight, lows will dip down to the mid to high 30s. And again, the clear skies are allowing for the temperatures to get that low. Just the radiational cooling as the heat from the day is just being allowed to escape back into space. And now let's take a look at the next 7 days. As I said, you're going to expect clear skies for the duration of the week into the weekend. Temperatures a little bit unseasonal, as highs in the mid to upper 50s, lows in the low to mid 30s. Once Monday comes, you can expect a bit of a warm up. It's still clear skies. Great way to start off your weeks with sun. Highs will be in the mid 60s with lows in the low to mid 40s. And Wednesday, you'll see a system starting to move its way from the plains that won't affect us yet, but will affect us just in time for Halloween. Highs Wednesday will be in the high 60s. Lows will be in the high 40s. That's all for this week's in weather. Back to you, Eli.
Thanks, Travis. And bikes are, without question, one of the most popular forms of transportation at the university and throughout the city. David Parks brings us a story tonight on what the school is doing in an effort to encourage students to ride more frequently.
Bicycle repair stations like this one are located at select stations around the Salisbury campus and are now available for students to use. These stations have come at a perfect time so that students can keep the proper air pressure in their tires using the air pump as the seasons change.
I think they came about around the same time as the Century, and I noticed people using them mostly pump up their tires, so they're definitely handy.
These stations are now available to all students and visitors who need a quick fix to get back on the road. For those students who need more than air, there is a QR code on each station that gives cyclists with smartphones a guide to repairing their bike.
I mean, I think it's okay because it's useful to the whole community and it's something we can actually use.
Tuition dollars are always going, but I can't imagine that these would be that expensive. And I mean, when it's useful to the students, these things are actually useful. I think that's definitely a positive way to spend money.
The more I guess low tires that you have around campus, you can have more bikes that are left unused, unattended. They get rusty, they get vandalized. People see them and know that they're not being used on a regular basis, so they might take liberties with them, steal parts off them, etc. From a sustainability standpoint, we're trying to encourage the students to ride bikes.
There are currently 4 of these stations on campus, located between the entrance of Mag's Gym and the tunnel, near the bike racks at Chester and Chop Tank, near the bike storage at Minokin, and outside of Siegel Square near the volleyball courts.
It'll definitely take the pressure off on the parking. It'll cost students less day to day. If they're able to cycle every day, they can save on the parking pass, they can save on fuel, they can use those resources for other things, books of course.
And these stations are now available for all students to use. For SUTV News, I'm David Parks.
And whether you bike to school or have a different mode of commuting, Aaron Cahill tells us about some of the things that the university does to try to reach out to the students that don't live on campus.
Every month, Commuter Connections provides off-campus students with tips on how to become successful here at Salisbury University and ways to get them involved on campus.
So Commuter Connections is really about advocacy, and we really want to make sure that we're the voice for commuter students. We want to help them get acclimated to the university, give them ways to stay here. A lot of times when you live off campus, you're not involved in on-campus activities. So that's just our way of getting them to come on campus and stay here so they can get the full college experience.
The month of October, the Commuter Lunch Series covered the topic Backpacks to Briefcases with the speaker, Becky Emery, from the Office of Career Services.
We'll talk about how to get internships, if they're freshmen, maybe choosing a major and a minor, or adding a minor if you're a sophomore, maybe a little bit about study abroad, but then getting into resumes, internships, and then the job hunt.
Commuter Connections is a great way for students to get involved in the Salisbury community. This is Erin Cahill reporting for SUTV News.
And for another type of connection, Catherine Carmine brings us what's going on with other universities in the Maryland system with Campus Connection.
Today on Campus Connection, we will hear about a new scholarship opportunities for students at local Maryland colleges. At Towson University, a new scholarship has been made available to students preparing for a career in teaching. James Patterson, the record holder for being the #1 New York Times bestsellers of any author, will award 8 incoming freshmen with a $6,000 scholarship. High school grade point average, SAT scores, and the need of financial aid are a part of the criterion for the scholarship. Towson University is one of 17 schools that the Patterson Family Foundation funds their teaching education scholarships. And at the University of Maryland Eastern Shore, 4 new full-ride scholarships will be available to students next year. The multi-million-dollar donation for these scholarships was made by Baltimore's Cornelius Jones in hopes of inspiring minorities and women to pursue careers in the golf industry. Jones has emerged as a leading advocate in a movement to diversify golf. The donation was made to provide the PGA Golf Management Program at the university with resources to recruit students. The university is one of 20 education institutes that offers this unique program. And at Loyola University, a new scholarship opportunity has arisen for students interested in public service. Students must attend graduate school and receive anything from a master's to a doctorate degree. The Harry S. Truman Scholarship will be available for students to apply for after Loyola endorses them. Loyola is only allowed to nominate 4 students to receive the award, so there is a process students must complete to be selected to apply. While grades are important, community service is the most important aspect of this application. That's it for this week's edition of Campus Connection. I'm Catherine Carmine.
Thanks, Catherine. We'll be back with sports after this commercial break.
I love you. 3 simple words, 1 short sentence, 1 family devastated, and 1 life lost. Why didn't I wait? If only I had waited to send those 3 words, I still would have my best friend. I love you meant the world to me to send at the time, and now I can't even utter that phrase to my baby sister. Take the pledge. Don't text and drive.
And now Kat Murphy brings us the SU Sports Update.
The Salisbury University football team prevailed in a showdown Saturday afternoon by holding off St. John Fisher College for a 42-35 win. The 4-2 Seagulls posted season highs in rushing yards, total yards, touchdown rushes, and points by scoring 42 to come away with the victory. Junior quarterback Joey Jones paced the Salisbury offense by rushing for 78 yards, while junior slot Desmond Civils ran for a game-best 89 yards. Salisbury gets back into Empire 8 action next Saturday, October 26th, when they travel to Hartwood College. In a physical conference clash at the SU Soccer Complex, the Salisbury University men's soccer team knocked off number 4 York College 3-1 to remain the only undefeated team remaining in the Capital Athletic Conference with a 5-0 record. In a match that drew 38 fouls, 5 yellow cards, and 1 red, goals from Tanner East, Elliot Crompton, and Adam Quigley allowed the Gulls to take the victory. The men carry their 8-game winning streak into tonight's match against Christopher Newport University. And the rematch of the 2012 Capital Athletic Conference Tournament Championship game saw the same result through 110 minutes of play as the Salisbury University women's soccer team drew a 0-0 tie against Frostburg State University on Saturday afternoon. Junior Michelle Conrad made 6 saves in the 65 minutes of play to keep the Bobcats off the scoreboard. Frostburg State outshot the Seagulls 18-11, and the Gulls returned to the SU Soccer Complex after 2 weeks away to host St. Mary's College tonight. And the number 7 Salisbury University field hockey team earned a key Capital Athletic Conference victory on Saturday afternoon, defeating number 8 University of Mary Washington 4-0. Freshman Yumi Kim continued her hot streak, netting 2 goals and leading the Salisbury attack with 5 shots for the contest. The Seagulls outshot Mary Washington 13-8 and returned to Seagull Stadium for a clash against St. Mary's College tonight. That's all for SU Sports. This is sports correspondent Kat Murphy.
And in this week's school's newspaper, Kristen Lotz, who was injured during the September shooting on Onley, sat down to talk about her recovery and how appreciative she is for all the support that she received from the SU community. Taylor Rogers highlights that and other stories in this week's edition of This Week in the Flyer.
This is Taylor Rogers with this week's edition of This Week in the Flyer, along with a story about the Westboro Baptist Church being a no-show at a scheduled on-campus protest and an update from the paper's editor-in-chief on the status of SU student Kristen Lotz. The front page dawns a story on Recycle Madness and how students and registered organizations came together for the semi-annual event to do their part to help the environment. In the editorial section, Stephen Sinema talks about the importance of choosing a running mate in the 2014 Maryland gubernatorial election. And for the second week in a row, one of the paper's writers took to the pages of this section to defend the name of the NFL's Redskins. And the Our View editorial seeks to dispel the myth of the amount of time that students have before it's okay for them to leave class because of a late professor. The Gull Life section features a story about how SU student Alex Grogan helped out a real-life seagull on his way back from a party. And Marissa Langello talks about how students came out to share their talents at the open mic night. That does it for this week's edition of This Week in the Flyer. Now back to Eli.
And now Sarah Wood gives us an update on what's going on with the Salisbury city government.
Good evening. This is Sarah Wood with the City Government Update.
We met up with City Council President Jake Day to discuss what has been occurring here at Salisbury University in regards to the City Council and how these decisions do or will impact the students here at Salisbury University.
We've been focusing a lot on economic development, on fiscal responsibility, and on some of the challenges that face this city, like public safety and our brain drain. You know, one of the things that we're concerned about is not having a community that's welcoming of our young people.
Jake Day discusses the importance of students being aware of the candidates and their platforms running on both a local and state level. Salisbury University has had 2 candidates for governor visit, Doug Gansler and Charles Lawler. Jake Day emphasizes the idea that getting involved in the community is important and knowing the candidates is a great way to start.
We've got a governor who is term limited and moving on. We've got a gubernatorial race that's going to be hotly contested. We have 3 Democratic candidates already. We have at least 4 Republican candidates right now, maybe more in the future. So we have a wide open field, and I think people are going to be very excited, very interested in hearing what their policies and platforms are. Many of those candidates have already visited Salisbury University, and we want to bring them all back here at the same time, at least each party for the primary, and then the general as well.
Third Friday, as the name suggests, takes place on the 3rd Friday of every month here in downtown Salisbury. An all-volunteer community effort, this proves to be a lively event as local artists share their art, photography, and jewelry while being joined by musical artists. This not only offers a fun opportunity for students, but also showcases Salisbury as a whole.
Last year, 150, 250 people in the downtown plaza, very cool, vendors and food and drink, lots going on a Friday night, Friday evening before you go out. And then it exploded, it tipped. There were just, if you've read The Tipping Point, it tipped. There were thousands of people on Friday night last week. It was amazing, and it was packed. And I heard one student say, as he walked by talking to a crowd of other students, wearing his Salisbury sweatshirt, he said, "This isn't Salisbury." Well, yeah, it is, and I get the sentiment, and I agree. It's not like what you think of when you think of Salisbury. It was an urban place with lots of people gathered together, having fun, being loud, being noisy, and it was a blast.
I'm Sarah Wood, and this was your City Government Update. Thanks, and have a great night.
Thanks, Sarah. When we return, we'll bring you what's going on with SOAP, an upcoming media event on campus, Today in History, and we'll hear about how one former professor and coach is still leaving his mark on the university and its students.
This is you after a weekend that you most likely won't remember. Don't worry, she left already. But wait, bro, did you use a condom? Smart man, keeping him and his lady friends safe. For more information about staying safe and healthy, please visit the University Health Center. It's the smart thing to do.
And now Jenna Payne breaks down what's coming up in SOAP.
We have a lot going on this week. Tonight at 9 p.m. we're having a showing of Red 2 in Double Vis 123, and then we're also showing it again on Sunday afternoon at 1 p.m. again in Double Vis 123. On Friday evening we're having a comedian come, actually 2 comedians, Tim Meadows and Tiffany Haddish. They're coming to the Y Comic Room at 8 p.m. It's supposed to be really funny, so everyone should come out for that. And then on Saturday evening we're having a Frightland trip. We had ticket sales a few weeks ago, so unfortunately we're all sold out, but it's supposed to be really fun, so if you have a ticket, I hope you're ready. And then on Sunday we have our biggest event of the semester, which is our fall concert. Revolution, a reggae band, is coming to Holloway Hall at 7, and it's going to be a great time. Ticket sales just ended. We sold all 500 tickets, so I'm looking forward to that, and I know it's going to be a great time, and I hope you all come out and join us. Thanks.
On Saturday, the Marine Corps Band will be returning to the Salisbury University campus for a performance in Holloway Hall. And tomorrow, Salisbury's chapter of the SPJ will be hosting a media diversity event in which students will have the opportunity to ask or tweet questions to members of the media. Top names in media such as Kevin Blackistone of ESPN's Around the Horn and Michael Killian of the Daily Times will be panelists at the event, which will be held at 6:30 on Thursday in the Wacomico Room. And it was on today in 1910 that Blanche Scott became the first woman to make a solo airplane flight. It was also on this day in 1915 that tens of thousands of women marched in New York City for the right to vote. It was in 1946 that the UN General Assembly met for the first time in Westminster, London. And it was 30 years ago today that a suicide bombing on the Beirut airport barracks in Lebanon killed 241 U.S. servicemen. This was the largest single-day casualty toll since Vietnam. And now Kristen Wolf brings us the story of Don Cathcart and how his impact on the university has continued years after his retirement.
Retired professor, track and field and cross-country coach Don Cathcart is a legend here at Salisbury University. He came to the Eastern Shore in 1971, and since that time he continues to show his support. During the many years working for the university and coaching, Cathcart still remembers his most memorable times.
Of course, I've been a math professor all the time. I've had some good math students I've kept in touch with over the years, but I think you don't have the same kind of interaction with your students ordinarily in an academic setting as you do in a sport. Marvin Toss and I coached together for a while, and some of those trips were fun, and the training. The meets were fun too, but the training is where you really get to know the kids.
In 2007, the invitational meet at Winter Place Park in Salisbury, Maryland was named the Don Cathcart Invitational. Current coach Jim Jones surprised Cathcart with this honor at the meet in 2007.
Well, it was a little bit of a surprise, I know, to him. When we came out, he looked at the awards and had his name on it, and it was, I think, a nice surprise for him, just to see the look on his face.
Recreation and Athletic Director Dr. Michael Vienna agrees this is a perfect way to show our appreciation.
We thought it was a great idea as a way to honor and thank him for all of his contributions to the program, and we really wanted to do it because all too often things get named after somebody after they pass away. So we'd like to say this is not the Don Cathcart Memorial, it's the Don Cathcart Invitational.
Since Cathcart retired from Salisbury University in 2008, he is still a known face throughout campus. He continues to make appearances at practices and meets to encourage the student athletes to work hard to achieve their goals.
Last year he came and spoke with the team right before this invitational, and he talked about competition, and he talked about, you know, how we have to compete not only in athletics, but we have to compete in life. And it was a good lesson for the men and women to hear that they can apply to in the running, which we had a very good meet last year, and we had a very good meet today, but also thinking about it in a broader perspective of life.
We were having some trouble really competing at every meet, and he came and talked to us, and then after that meet, we all did awesome, and I always remember that, and we still say it till this day.
The student athletes are thankful for Don Cathcart's hard work and involvement because he is a big part of keeping this program alive.
He's the reason we still have a cross-country program here. In the 70s. I think they were thinking about cutting it. So if not for him, then we wouldn't be here today.
You know, just laying the foundations for our school program over the years, building it up to what it is, definitely has helped us progress to what we are today.
With his obvious success as an athlete, a coach, and a professor, his humbleness of appreciation for the honor he received shows why he is a well-liked, well-known, and a large part of the Salisbury Athletic Department that will always be valued. Cathcart expresses his emotions when he first realized the event was now named after him.
Well, I still haven't figured out exactly how I feel. I don't know if I can handle it right, or if I know how to handle it, or I know how to react, or know how to feel. I'm just very grateful. Jim Jones has done a marvelous job here since the time we had him, and I think he told me just shortly before the meet. And I came out anyway, and it's a little bit embarrassed, but proud and happy.
And that does it for this week's edition of SUTV Weekly News. For all of us at SUTV News, this is Eli Modlin, thanking you for joining us and hoping to see you again right here next week. Good night.